Hey, Pops.
Hey, boys.
How was vacation?
Vacation was good. Ate some good barbecue. Saw a lot of people I went to high school with.
Really? How was Jesus?
Oh, shut up.
My dad's been on vacation, so I took the opportunity to do some renovations around the pawn shop. I think my father would have a coronary if he knew what we paid for this stuff. So, the best way to respect him? Junk food. I got you some pie. I got you some chicken wings. Just, welcome you back.
Okay.
Fold.
What the hell? What? Somebody messed with my seat.
Sorry, I think Chuck might have been sitting on it. You want to get you a better one?
Yeah, give me a better seat. This one here. Way down
We'll get you taken care of, Greg.
there. Good to be home, fellas.
Chuck.
What?
Hey, nice to see you again.
This is a vintage World War I poster. I want to see if you guys are interested in it.
That is neat.
Don't you buy enough stuff in here, Jared? No, never. I come here and try to stay here. This is my guy coming to the pawn shop. Hobbyist, buy and sell stuff. So if I see a deal on something, I'll buy it and try to make a buck on it. I bought a yard sale. I paid $15 for it. I'm hoping to get 400 out of it, but at least I'll take it's too bad.
World War I was very unpopular to begin with. No one in this country wanted to get this war. It wasn't our fight, it was the fight of Europe. And then, the scene of Lusitania, a German U-boat sunk it. The second that ship was sunk, the opinions of the American people flipped 180 degrees. And these were very good recruitment tools. Nowadays, the U.S. military puts ads on television, radio, the internet, but back during World War I, posters like these were their main recruiting tool. And it really worked. Millions of men volunteered.
That's one of the things that inspired me to want to go to war.
When he's saying goodbye to his mom, on the march. I mean, they romanticized it a lot here.
Looks like the old man wrote this campaign for home and country. That's what he would say.
This one was like tearing the heartstrings. Goodbye to the loved ones. Decorated for valor. All these great things that are going to happen in their war. They definitely didn't want to broadcast that World War I, up to that point, was the deadliest war in the history of mankind. It was trench warfare, machine guns, chemical warfare on both sides. For years, this war was just fought on bloody, disgusting trenches on both sides. No one could make it forward. Millions of people died.
100.
It was literally hell on earth. But the job of a recruitment team was to sign up, not exactly tough the facts. Okay, now, how's your walkway? Is it $400 cool? No. The coolest one ever made and the most expensive one is. There we go. That's good. See that one? Good. I'll start looking for it. That one goes for, in good shape, right around $5,000. This is far, far, far away from performance. Small. It's a little hokey. Quite frankly, it's the bottom rung of the flexible of these things. Okay. I would give you $100. That's what I can do. Literally, that's these things are worth $200. That's what they retail for, $200. I mean, I don't think these are $100.
You got it, man.
All right, you want to run a much?
Yeah, I'll write him up. Let's go. No, it's not exactly what I wanted. I think it was worth more than that, but $125 wasn't that bad, so I picked it up for $15.
Ricky! Corey! Yeah.
the hell did I do with my coffee?
Mauuhaw siya, gusto niya. Bigyan mo nga yung dede.
Taking advance on a paycheck?
Okay lang. Huwi namin naman si Simon.
No. Yeah, I'm not going to give you an advance plan something. I only do that for emergencies. This is an emergency. It's not an emergency.
Ayaw niya? Sara mo na lang ito. Sara mo lang.
So you want an advance on your paycheck to buy a big TV? You don't save money.
I think you can make pretty good money doing advance every night.
And you're definitely exotic.
Bakit? Teka. Teka. Simona.
This is Monstars.
Ay, naku si Mom.
How you doing?
How's it going, man?
Good.
What is this?
This is a piece of the flag that was carried by Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders on San Juan Hill,
Okay.
and we supposed to go with it.
This is a piece of the flag that they brought up San Juan Hill.
Yes,
The most famous battle of the American War.
yes.
That's pretty amazing.
Anything associated with Teddy Roosevelt is a really rare piece. Teddy Roosevelt was only really with the Rough Riders for about a year, so there isn't much out there. I'm asking $8,000 for this piece, but as everything that I bring in, it's always negotiable.
So this is
This is actually the guidon from, I believe it's Company F, or Troop F, as it would be called in the cavalry.
the guy that like signifies their.
Yes, the U.S. colors, the regimental colors, it would be the company flag.
You got like paperwork and stuff that goes with it, or
Well, I have a handwritten note from the guy who was given the piece of the flag. It was a common practice to souvenir out flags in the military, in the Civil War, and the Spanish-American War. Certain people would get a piece of that flag.
okay. Yeah, 1898. He's Under Secretary of the Navy. Middle of the night was telegraph. Eventually, he was getting close to the American fleet. Next thing you know, he goes, I just fire him. Basically, starts the Spanish-American War all by himself, and almost immediately forms the Rough Riders. Wants to go to Cuba, fights, basically because he wanted to be president one day. This is for cockier than you. Cocky nerd. This is something you never hear about today. A high-up government bureaucrat resigning his position so he can lead volunteers into war. It just doesn't happen anymore. And this is just one of many stories that made Teddy Roosevelt larger than life. And this one went up San Juan Hill.
He has a list of battles here: San Juan, July 1st through 4. Everywhere the Rough Riders were.
This is neat. I really like this.
Well, good.
What do you want to do with it?
I want to sell it.
And how much you want?
8,000.
Oh. So I'm going to call Mark and have a look at this. I just want to make sure everything is right.
Okay. I think Mark knows his items for the most part, but he's looked at my things before, and sometimes he gets it right, and sometimes not.
John. Yeah? Check this out, man. What is it?
It's a 1939 foot oscillator.
Foot oscillator?
Give you some happy feet.
You're afraid to even touch it. It looks like I might need a tetanus shot.
Well, I'm looking to sell this because my husband wants to throw it away. I'd love to prove him wrong and show that it's worth some money. I'm really hoping to get $1,500 today. I guess I'd take anything because it was like it was going to go in the garbage.
So what do you know about this?
It's 1939. It was a 10-cent vending machine by a company called Vivadex. You take your shoes off and put your feet on there and it would do its thing.
So it's just like an old school pedicure machine or something? You get pedicures? Well, back to this thing, dude.
They started making this model for use in doctors' offices. They thought it had therapeutic qualities.
Well, that makes sense because in the 40s, we didn't have all the little gadgets that you could massage your feet at home with. I'm a firm believer in taking good care of your feet. So that's why I spend most of my day sitting down. Or better yet, laying on the couch. This kind of scares me. No electricity, no shock. So have you ever used it?
I've turned it on. I haven't used it. Want to try it?
I'm down to try it. I'm standing at the door all day.
You know, if he's brave enough to give it a shot, I say let's let him do it.
I really don't want to be the one that has to stop him.
Step
Yeah, I
back,
got a
guys.
plug right here. Relax. Come from the salon. Are your socks clean?
Yes, bro.
Dude, we're getting this. It's awesome how this thing works, but I think Antoine's having a little too much fun with it. I'm gonna try to make an offer before he tries to take it home. How much are you asking for it?
I'd like to get $1,500 for it.
Honestly, $1,500 is way out of the price range. I'd be willing to give you like $50 for it.
Ouch. Can you at least give me 100?
You know, I can't sell a rusty piece of machine, so I'm gonna have to put $50 into it. I'm pretty firm at $50.
I guess it's $50 more than I would have gotten if it had ended up in the trash.
All right, it's a deal. Let's go right up there and we'll do some paperwork.
I didn't get the $1,500, but hey, I got $50 in my pocket, and I proved my husband wrong.
Davey Dibbs.
What's up, Corey?
Come on down this way.
I got some stuff you guys are gonna love. I got 5 items, 2 action figures, one for each of you to play with, a lunchbox, board game, and the TV guide, all signed by Dan Haggerty, the Grizzly Adams. You see the resemblance? He looks just like Corey.
Yes, I do. Step up's appear, right? I gotta be honest with you, I didn't really watch the show at all. I've met Dan Haggerty a handful of times, very nice guy, big guy. But the show itself, I didn't really pay attention to. I'd like to get $100 an item. There's 5 there, so that would be 500.
That's pretty cool. I liked the show when I was a kid. Did you ever watch Grizzly Adams?
Totally. I remember living in the woods with a bear, and that's about it.
This was loosely based on a real guy that was nicknamed Grizzly Adams. This guy was, I think, the Sierra Nevada Mountains back in the 1800s and actually had some pet dogs. He used them to like pack animals, and he took people out on hunts and things like that. And P.T. Barnum heard about him, eventually hired him and did the trained bear thing at the circus. And then in the 70s, they came out with a movie. It was a colossal hit, and they made it a TV series. When the movie The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams came in 1974, it was a smashing success. And after the huge success of the TV series MASH, it was pretty common for big hit movies to turn into a series. The action figures are cool, I like it because they're still in the packaging. Lunchbox is cool. Does it have a thermos? Yes, it does. And he even signed the thermos.
No way.
Bonus. TV Guide, #1 magazine in the United States that used to make 50 million copies a week. So it's not exactly rare. This time, by Dan Haggerty.
How much do you want for it?
1, 2, 3, 4, $500. No. Cool stuff. It's from the 70s. It's all in the box. But the problem is, it's Grizzly Adams. It's not Star Wars. Okay?
But it's still got a value.
I'll give you $150 for all.
What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
See, Davey, here's the great thing. You don't know anywhere else to bring this.
No, I don't.
You have no idea what it's worth, so guess what?
You get $200.
$200.
Now you came up a little bit. I'll give you $200.
You know, this isn't
Fair, too. You get somewhere else.
It's like,
Jake, you want the 200?
No.
See ya.
wait, $200 if you want it, I'll get it.
I'll buy lunch, $250.
$200.
All right, give me 200.
All right, yeah, get you over there.
What a tough ride.
Seriously.
Pack it up and go over there, dude.
All right, dude. I'll get even. You know that.
I tried my hardest to negotiate them, but the guy definitely beat me up, and it was 2 against 1. I had to just fold.
you can't win.
Got me there.
Chuck, that thing away. This is not a day spa or whatever. You don't do this at work. Put it away.
It feels pretty good.
Now.
Ano ba yan?
Sometimes
Sorry.
I wonder if Chris has ever
Tanga.
thing called
Masyado ako nakatutok sa...
I really prove that there's a way to relax and work all at the same time. Amateurs. My feet are asleep. I can't walk.
Flash.
One of my regulars came in with what he claims is a piece of the flag
Yours.
that Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders went up San Juan with during the Mexican War. I don't doubt that this is the Rough Rider flag.
Battle of the Hearts. Go, go,
I don't
go.
know if it's the actual flag that went up the hill with their cavalry. So I called in Mark to tell me more about it.
Eric, you're
Hey.
in there too.
How you doing?
How are you? Going?
What's up, buddy?
So, what have we got this time?
Part of the flag that went up San Juan Hill.
Rough Rider flag.
Oh,
It's actually the guide on it.
okay. The interesting thing when you're talking about San Juan Hill, you're talking about the Rough Riders, and the Rough Riders had their own flag. The Guidons, each troop would have one of those. The term Rough Riders actually was taken from Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show and Congress of Rough Riders. So, what's your concerns here?
Is this the flag that went up San Juan Hill?
Well, do you mind if I take a closer look at it?
Sure.
San Juan, July 1st to 4th, 1898. Very nice. That's the one that everybody's heard of. The Rough Riders running up this hill, which is always kind of interesting because this was a cavalry. The cavalry are on horses. San Juan Hill, they're on foot.
I guess that would make a lot more sense. I mean, if you're trying to go up a hill on horses and they're firing down on you, you would make a much easier target on a horse.
Sorry. But looking at the material itself,
This would not be a
it's
check.
absolutely correct for the time period. And given this note, I do believe that this was a piece of Troop F's guidon. But it doesn't say that it went up the hill and went into battle. You know, because at San Juan Hill they were on foot, they weren't carrying guidons.
Ouch. No more money.
The way this is written, it
All
says,
in lang.
engaged at
Yes.
the following battles.
Yeah.
Piece of the guidon engaged at.
Doesn't say anything about being used in battle. It just says these are the battles we were in. So when it comes to whether it went up San Juan Hill, probably not.
Well, I think I got what I want, man.
All right. Well, thank you.
The statement about San Juan Hill is, I think it's wrong. You know, it says right on the note that it was engaged at those battles, and I'm going to trust the word of someone who was there versus someone who was not there.
It's really cool, but I don't think it's worth nearly as much as what you're asking for.
800.
It didn't go up San Juan Hill.
Even if they fought this battle, I think that
I don't see it $8,000. I see it a lot less than that.
how lot less.
I'm not going to make an offer. We're just so far off. I'm sorry, man.
All right.
Okay?
I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to pay a lot of money for that.
You come back with some more stuff, you know? I'm not going to pay a lot of money for something unless I know 100% it's the real deal. But I know Eric will come back with something cool. He always does.
What water you doing?
What? No, I told Chum to put this thing away.
All right, you ain't putting it away. You're playing with it.
I don't know who told him he could buy it. I think it's ridiculous.
This is how the day spot, son. Put the damn thing away. Idiot.
This is the final table. Wow.
What do we got?
Some Mark's 10 toys. They're old toys. Really cool tank. A Dick Tracy car.
I was one of those kids that spend more time setting up his argument than I would actually ever play with them.
I actually lived in a neighborhood with like 10 kids, so we just played outside.
You forget I grew up in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, doing some boring stuff.
I inherited the toys from my grandfather. We were allowed to play with them a little bit when we were kids, but then they
Wow,
took away
I won.
to do this someday. Something I hope to find out here. I'm asking for 500 because I'm taking my grandfather's toys, selling them, and buying toys for my grandchildren.
So who makes these toys?
I believe they're all from Mark's 10 toys from the 40s or 50s.
Okay, yeah, Mark's toys got really popular during the Depression era. Mark's came up with the idea of less than expensive, very well-built toys for kids. And there were a few companies that actually stayed profitable during the entire Great Depression.
Right.
10 toys have been around since the 1800s. They were cheap to make and could be mass-produced. And by the 1950s, Mark's was the largest toy company in the world. But now they've been forgotten by most people except collectors.
Does this thing work?
Yeah, it does. This one right here, you can turn the on and off switch on, and it goes in the tank. Shoots.
That's pretty cool. They sure don't make toys like they used to. What was the reason on these things? You think they hand painted this for you?
You know, what they were is they were lithographed on tin and then they actually stamped them in. That's why, I mean, pretty much the same active. So what do you want to do with these?
I'd like to sell them today.
Any idea what you're looking to get out of them?
I want to try and get 500 out of them.
500 out of 500 altogether? I bought 10 toys before for a few $1,000s. But I'm a little worried about these, to be honest with you. They kind of look like they were really towards the end of when Mark's making toys. Probably when they were having stuff made in Taiwan right before they went out of business. So I got a friend that's right down the street. You want to bring him down to his shop? I'm actually on my way there after this.
Sure, that'd be good.
All right, I'll meet you out front.
I'll go with you.
All right, come on.
That's
Made some really
yours.
good money on 10 toys in the past. But it's hard to tell the difference between a toy that's worth hundreds of dollars and a toy that's just scrap metal. So hopefully Johnny will be able to tell. A woman brought us old 10 toys from the Marks Company, and I just didn't know enough about it to place them on the spot. So we headed down to the toy shack so Johnny could give us a realistic price.
Oh, sweet. These are great pieces, and these are all look like from the 50s, made from Marks. Marks was a huge company. They had big toys priced for people to afford, but these things are built to last.
Right.
I mean, Dick Tracy was an icon.
Yeah, I only remember him from the movie with Madonna in it.
Exactly. Yeah, way later version, but going back to the 30s up to the 60s, I mean, it was a huge character back then. If you were a kid growing up before the 1960s, there's a good chance they had a Marks toy. I mean, they were affordably made, they were made well, and they had them at the 5 and dime stores, and they also had a lot of really cool parts.
Johnny, man, one of the concerns I had, I kind of figured they were from the 1950s. I was
Bye-bye.
wondering if they had started making toys in
Bye-bye.
Taiwan or overseas by that point.
Well, when you get up in the 70s, that's when they started outsourcing Taiwan,
Wow,
Hong
I
Kong,
won.
and then after that, a lot of stuff would have been made in China.
Okay.
But yeah, the American made, I mean, high quality stuff.
How much do you think they're worth?
Well, I mean, overall, I don't see too much rust. A lot of the lithographs still there, the colors are really vibrant on these. We have a few issues, we're missing the sirens, they got a lot of dings. With that being said, if I were to put a value on everything, it would probably be in that 500 to 600 range for the group.
Awesome.
Okay. Right on, man. I appreciate it. You mind if I borrow your store for a second?
Of course, of course. All right, cool, man.
Sure, we can go look at some toys if you want. You wanted 500. I think 350 is a fair price.
Oh yeah, I can take that.
All right,
Awesome.
I do.
Thank you.
This customer I've had all day. I'll meet you back at my shop. We'll get it all written up.
Awesome. When he said 350, I was extremely surprised, so I just jumped at it. 350 will go a long way for buying 5 grandchildren toys. Sierra, Hayden, go to McKell and Elliot.
Come on, chum.
Well, I want to buy something first. Can I borrow $20?
No.
Whatever, dude.
He's just... John is always figuring out new ways to piss me off. And his obsession with this foot massager is driving me crazy. I'm telling you, if I told this kid not to stick his finger in a light socket, he'd do it.
Lucky.
I'm gonna kill Chun-Li. Really?
Yeah. What? It feels good. You don't know what you're missing, Ricky.
Oops.
What's wrong, Rick? Back. You know what it is, don't you?
What?
It's old age.
Not old. My back just hurts a little bit, right? I will be fine, guys. I will just... When I go home tonight, I'll get
Why don't you just do something about the back pain instead of sitting here complaining all day about back hurting?
First off, I wasn't complaining a bit.
Get a little massage.
I'm cool.
You sure, dude? Have you ever tried a
4,000.
yoga ball?
Wow.
No.
Just get back to work, guys.
I'm gonna get you a yoga ball. You're gonna love it.
Fine. Whatever.
You know what you could do about your back pain, right?
What?
You can go to the doctor and get a shot of Be a Man.
At my shop, family comes first, and money comes second. Depending on who you ask. But the best part, you never know what's going to come through that door. This is Pawn Stars. Oh, hey, what do we have here?
I have a signed check by Babe Ruth for 2 rows of seats for the 1937 World Series.
The Sultan of SWAT. This guy lived the American dream. This guy was an orphan. And he went from nothing to... You know what? He probably had more fans than the president.
I think everybody's a Babe Ruth fan, and it's one of the most sought-after signatures. I'm looking to get around $8,000 for this. Probably the least I would take for this, maybe around $4,500, possibly.
You got his stats right here. He hit 714 home runs. What people don't realize now is, I mean, he got these stats when they played less games every year, right? It just wasn't possible to play as many games back then because a lot of times it was a 2-day trip on a train to get to where you're going to play the next game.
Right.
And the other thing I love about Babe Ruth, he never really looked like he was in peak physical condition.
But he put up the numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
Music.
it got to the point where he would come up to a plate and they would just walk up. You can't overstate
It's
how
yours.
important
Why
Babe
did you not
Ruth
bet?
was to the game of baseball. I mean, before he joined the Yankees, they had never been to the World Series. These days, it seems like the Yankees win every damn year. And the Babe is the one who started that trend. Now, one thing that, puts a doubt in my head that it's for tickets. I just can't imagine that they would make him pay for seats.
You know, they call it the house that Ruth built, but yet he had to buy his own seats for the World Series.
You would assume he should be able to get any damn thing he wanted. Because it's $481.70. That's a little odd. World Series seats were expensive, but back then they priced. These are $3, these are $4, these are $5, these are $10. It's sort of hard to come to that figure buying seats.
But it's endorsed by the Yankees World Series Fund, too. He went to World Series Game 1 and 2. He bought seats.
Okay, how do we know it was for rows of seats?
That's what it said in the description.
Mali. Okay.
And, we have the PSA. All right, and it's signed by Steve. He's a friend of mine. This is the company he works for. He works for PSA. He does this stuff all the time. Anything with Babe Ruth's name on it is a sports collector's dream. And this is pretty cool and unique because of the unusual theory behind it. I know it's legit because my buddy Steve dedicated it. But the story does not entirely add up, and that affects the value. How much you want for it?
I'd like to get $10,000.
That sounds like a lot, to say the truth.
Looked at a lot of Ruth signatures throughout the personal collections. I know what I paid for items. But this is so special due to the fact it's just a point that he had to buy his own seats. That's just crazy to me.
And it might boost the price up. It might. To 10,000, I don't know. Let me call my buddy Steve. This is the actual guy who signed this report.
That's great.
I'm going to give him a call. Let me get him in here. He'll take a look at this thing, and he'll help me figure out a price. You mind?
Oh, no problem.
Okay. I will be right back.
Okay. I have a certificate for PSA dealers on the ground, so I'm pretty excited that he's coming in to look at it. So that'd be funny if he said it's unauthentic. It'd be kind of hilarious.
Looks like you're on a trampoline. You're bouncing up and down, son. How's your back?
Still a little bit better.
That's a good idea I came up with.
All right. Here.
Pretty ingenious.
Yes, chum. Thank you for getting me the ball. It was a smart idea.
Yeah, it was a smart idea, I gotta say. Like, how smart was it on a scale of 1 to 10?
You're Einstein, all right? Now go back to work.
For like a
Bakit?
12? Einstein's off the charts.
Stupid.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you? I have some Civil War Navy buttons that I want to sell.
Cool. Did you tear apart a jacket or something?
It's a good possibility if somebody in the Civil War, they were actually fighting in a battle and had those buttons on their uniform. So I
Hirap
never
ng
had any piece of
interface na
American
itong
history
ClubWPT,
before,
ah.
so it's kind of neat coming across
Hindi
these
ako ng
lines
paya,
today.
eh.
I'm hoping to get $1,300 for them. I really don't have any use for them, and I could definitely use the money more than the buttons.
So you got any of the backstory on them, or?
I found them in a house that I purchased, and I found out that the previous owner's grandfather was enlisted in the Navy during the Civil War.
Okay, he was Union, right?
Yes, he was.
The Navy was kind of like the unsung heroes of the Civil War. The North just brought the ships down, blockaded all the ports. It crippled the South. I mean, they couldn't buy anything. I mean, they couldn't get bullets for their guns. Everything was rationed.
I had no idea.
During the Civil War, the South had to get a lot of their supplies from Europe because they didn't have the manufacturing that the North had. So a major part of the North's strategy was to block Southern ports so they couldn't get their shipments. Kind of hard to fight a war without guns and ammo. It's got the Eagle, it's holding the anchor, obviously Navy.
So what exactly are you looking for?
I just want to make sure they don't say made in China or something on. But they're made by different people, so that kind of makes me want they're all from the same period. Do you have any idea what you might want to get out of them?
I'm hoping $1,300.
$1,500. Kind of a predicament here. I know the Navy, they kept some of their uniforms for almost 100 years.
Oh, wow.
So you might have something really cool here that can be worth a bunch of money, or nothing at all.
Well, hopefully it's worth a bunch of money.
I need to get somebody down here and kind of tell me exactly what these buttons are and how long they've been around.
So who are you going to call in to look at these buttons?
He's the administrator of the Clark County Museum system. Probably the smartest guy in the world.
All right, sounds good.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good.
Audit.
Accurately dating these buttons is really important. If they're from the Civil War, they're a lot more collectible than they would be if they're from the turn of the century. That can mean the difference between zero money and thousands of dollars. Hey, what is this?
What?
Why are you sitting on a ball?
This is good for my back. It's like the whole ergonomic thing. I mean, it's like the softest, bounciest chair in the world. It actually works.
The type of chair he sits on isn't what's causing my dad's back to hurt. His back hurt the same reason a pregnant woman's back is. Except his baby is 20 pounds of chicken wings. Maybe if you just started being a little bit more healthy, your back would stop hurting.
Well, I am working on that. Like what? Okay? Sitting here, do my own work here. That's what I want to. I can roll back. Go straight on my back. Sit back and look at you.
Just watching you sitting in the chair is making me mad. I can't do this. Just put your headphones back on. I'm done with you.
Whatever. Hey. A guy came in with a check signed by Babe Ruth. And strangely enough, the signature was authenticated by my buddy Steve. It's got a real cool backstory, but I just don't know if it's true. He's here to help me out. Hey, what's up?
How you doing? Hi.
Well, here's the check.
Wala na anak eh.
And the piece of paper you signed. Okay. You want to bring it back to signature?
Inubos mo lahat ng cookies, oh.
Well, this is it. Pretty interesting. It's written by Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees, and this guy says that it was for World Series tickets. You guys mind if I take a look at this?
Go ahead. Babe Ruth was the guy who really changed baseball and made it what it is today. He signed a lot of autographs, but the value kind of keep going up and up, especially on single-sign baseballs and stuff like that, where, you know, the value is almost through it now. This is a pretty standard Babe Ruth signed check. Pretty common of Ruth to sign G.H. Ruth. He typically went with that style on checks because he had to. It was more legal. There's no issues with that. When I look at the check, you know, just looking at aesthetically, the one thing that kind of kills it for me is the stamp. You've got the stamping over part of the signature. Signature about 7 right now. You want a signature grade of 10.
All right, so the question is, how do we know it's for rows of seats?
You don't know for sure. Do you want to take a leap of faith? It's up to you. That's not up to me.
No, it's you know me. It's all about facts and money. He wants $10,000 for it, and I just think that's a really big number for something like this.
I think that $10,000 mark is pretty high.
Does it add anything that it was to the New York Yankees? Doesn't that tell you something that it was full World Series?
There's still nothing saying it's the biggest.
What else could it be?
I don't know. I mean,
Popcorn,
you never know.
peanuts?
Hypothetically, let's say maybe he bought an extra uniform for a kid or for a friend. I don't know. The bottom line is you can't say for certain it's the check for World Series tickets. Given the fact that where the checks are at right now and where I see them sell every day, I'd say you're talking a ballpark value about $4,000. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Good to see you. All right. Thanks. Nice to see you. All right. Take care. $10,000 is pretty steep just for a Babe Ruth check. I sure hope he's not upset about it, and I also think the guy needs to get a haircut.
So you still want 10 grand?
Well, I was asking a lot. What he said did make sense.
How much do you want for it?
I'd like to go 7.
This is just not going to happen. I mean, there's no way I would buy it off. There's no way I'm going to buy it off you for 5 and sell it for 35 or 4. I mean, I'll give you $2,500 for it.
Sorry? I don't want to know 25.
I'll go 25. I mean, that's the most realistic price I can give you.
27?
No.
How?
$2,500 is a fair price. All right.
Okay.
Fine. Very good. All right. You should right up front.
Okay. I sure thought he was going to negotiate. I was really surprised that he didn't move it higher here.
$2,500.
You robbed me.
It is wrong. All right. Have a good one, man.
That really shocked me. I really wasn't thinking logically. If I could go back and do it, I would have probably said no. I would have said no.
Earlier, a woman came in with some old Navy buttons. If they're from the Civil War, they could be really valuable. But I just can't tell how old they are, so I called in Mark to come help me out.
Oh, interesting.
So the Navy played a big role in the Civil War, right?
Oh yeah, if we hadn't had the Union Navy, we wouldn't have been able to blockade on the coast and south. That made a huge difference. It intercepted a lot of the firearms that the South was trying to bring in. So it was an effective force. Most people, when they think of military in the Civil War, they think about the Army. They tend to forget the Navy, and yet the Union Navy had a huge part in helping to defeat the South by blockading the ports, by coming up the Mississippi River and attacking from the river.
Is there any way to actually tell for sure the Civil War? I mean, they do look like they're made by different people.
Yeah, and that would make sense. From 1850 to 1941, we didn't change the design on these buttons. Every time they needed another batch of them, different button companies would bid on them. So what we have to look at in order to tell whether they're Civil War is who made them and how they marked them. Oh, that's nice. That one was actually made in London. Now that's a different. Interesting. And some of these are not easy.
Tabla lang ang puta.
Of what I'm seeing of backstamps,
Siya papanalo.
given
Come on.
And Horseman and Sons and some of these companies, these are major manufacturers.
Wow.
I think these are Civil War buttons. They date right. They're either 1850s or early 1860s. They're not real common, and the nice thing about this group is that there are a number of different manufacturers. And collectors tend to want a button from everybody who put out that button. So it's a nice find.
It's good to know.
All right, gave me everything I needed, buddy. It was interesting, these buttons, these came off a uniform. Somebody wore these during the battles. They're a tangible tie to that time period.
Earlier, 1300. I'm sure there's probably like a grading system for these. Ones like this one, I would say is in really good shape. Compared to this one, not so much. That being said, I'll start off around $200. These types of buttons sell for thousands, and I've seen buttons sell for pennies. It's really a crapshoot depending on the buyer, so I got to be cautious with my offer.
How about 1,000? Some had different values online than other ones.
I think I can probably make some decent money off of it. It's just, it's going to take me a long time to. I'll go up to 400. I'm not paying anymore, though. I'm really not.
600 and you have a deal.
I'll pay 5.
Thank you.
George, you got a deal.
Deal? All right, cool. And pack these up and meet me over there.
All right. I actually was expecting to be offered a lot less, so $500 is definitely a good payoff. It was worth a little bit of digging.
I got a call about a camper van from the city. I've been looking for a cool vintage van to fix up. So if this one looks cool, who knows? Maybe I could fix it up and convince the guys, hey, we'll go on a road trip.
What's this van? It's a 1966 Ford Econoline Super Conversion camper van.
It definitely looks like it's from the 60s.
I found it at a yard sale in Southern California. If I see a car and I like it, if I have the money with me, I buy it. I usually have 6 to 12 cars at any given time. It's been converted by the factory back in 1966.
Yeah, this wasn't actually converted by Ford.
No, it was a company called KAM.
Okay. It was bigger than the Volkswagen bus. That was the good thing about it. Well,